Yo, what's going on, everybody? It's your boy Naruto Explain here, bringing you guys another Boruto 2 Blue Vortex discussion. Today, I want to talk to you guys about a super controversial moment in Boruto 2 Blue Vortex Chapter 4, which is the moment where Boruto escaped near death at the hands of the Claw Grimes and was shown gathering his thoughts, sliding under the tree to apologize to Sasuke, who was trapped inside the tree because he was bitten by one of the Claw Grimes during the time skip. This rightfully has a bunch of fans upset that Sasuke is a tree, and it's something I said if we ever got this reveal that during the 3-year time skip we found out that Sasuke was turned into a tree, I said I'd be upset even though I understood the narrative reason behind it. Well, that moment I dreaded, it's finally here, and I want to weigh in with my honest thoughts on the whole situation while addressing some of the concerns I saw in the spoiler video. Now, just to be clear, I'm not going to be one of these clowns that you see on YouTube that are blindly hating on the chapter for likes and views, or blindly hating on a plot decision for the same reasons, nor am I going to suck it off because I'm not terribly pleased with this turn of events. I have no problem saying if I like a chapter or I like something happens, or if I don't like something. I've said both whenever it's been appropriate. We have enough people who blindly hate on the series, and we have enough people who watch the anime original episodes like Mitsuki looking for his lost cat and think, hey, this is the best stuff ever. I don't need to fill in either of those lanes. I've been pretty transparent with you guys over the years. And I told you guys recently I'm not going to be a fan if this plot twist were to happen. And now that I've seen it, I'm definitely not a fan of what we got here. And I'm not happy that Boruto's sitting underneath Sasuke like he's Rocket Raccoon from the Guardians of the Galaxy, and Sasuke stuck in that tree looking like the only words he can say is, I am Groot. Am I biased? Absolutely. I am a big Sasuke fan. My first avatar that I got commissioned drawn for this channel was a fusion of Sasuke and Natsu from Fairy Tail, because back when I started Naruto Explained, I was debating turning this into a variety anime channel like my original channel KRYPTONIAN SAIYAN, where I still talk about other anime and manga. So yes, I am biased here, even though Sasuke isn't my personal favorite Naruto character. One of my favorite Naruto characters, but he's not, say, Itachi or Obito or Madara or Kakashi. However, I'm going to wait to call this complete BS on this reveal only because I practice what I preach, what I tell you guys, which is that I don't react just off of one chapter. I'll give the story time to flesh things out and see if I have an ick that is addressed later on. Sometimes it takes 3 to 4 volumes, basically a whole year for monthly releases, and sometimes it can take 3 to 4 years, like some of the plot points from Attack on Titan, a monthly manga, or My Dress Up Darling, which I also read, that is a monthly manga, which don't judge me, but it still has stuck those set up from the events of season 1, so like the first 30 chapters that have not been addressed 60 chapters later by the events of Chapter 98, which should have been the last one that we got. So am I used to waiting to see if mangaka will address a plot thread or not? Absolutely. It's part of reading an ongoing series. I think this moment with Sasuke, given how big of a reveal that it is, that Sasuke got bitten and turned into a tree, I do think it's something that we're going to get the backstory on and we're going to get context on in a future chapter. I just don't think it's going to be the next chapter. Now, I'll be pleasantly surprised if it is the next chapter, but that brings up this right here. The real question we have to ask ourselves is, will this be a show versus tell situation? Will the manga show us what happened the way that Naruto showed us in volume 27, the story how Kakashi got the Sharingan, and showed us in volume 63 how Obito joined Madara, while simultaneously closing that plot thread from volume 27 7 years ago, all while opening up more plot threads in the process for the remaining 9 volumes of the Naruto franchise? If we go the approach of show, then depending on what is revealed to us behind the circumstances, then I'd be fine with what it is we got, because there would be some closure given there, which builds on the reveal that Sarada had in chapter 3 of Boruto 2 Blue Vortex, that the people trapped inside the tree that's still alive. It's a great way to lend the story optimism in what will definitely be a dire situation that won't be well received by fans. That's a fair enough trade-off. However, the story could take the tell approach, which, as you guys know, I do understand why some authors do take the tell approach. I'm not the biggest fan of this method of writing, even though it can be effective to just dump the info and trust your readers to connect the dots and keep it moving. Stories that tend to use in medias res as a writing method, where they start with a flash forward sequence, which is what Boruto did by showing you Boruto versus Kawaki in chapter 1, then going back to tell the story chronologically of how we got to that point. They tend to use quite a bit of the telling method during that period, which is what Boruto continues to do. We weren't shown what happened happened with Kaguya and Ishiki. It was unnecessary information. We were just told that Kaguya came to Earth. She waited for Ishiki to lower his guard, sneak attacked him, and then bam, Kaguya got the chakra fruit for herself. We weren't shown why Code has a strong affection for the Sasuke clan to the point he admires a vessel like Jigen and he worships an Sasuke like Ishiki. We just got told this guy is an Sasuke worshipping nut job and we're just expected to run with it. In the pit of my stomach, I have this very sneaking suspicion. This is exactly what's about to happen with Sasuke being turned into a tree. I have the same feeling I had when I was in college and my college girlfriend cheated on me with a lawyer. I knew she was getting some side D from a sneaky link, and sure enough, it ended up happening. Which that might be a little personal, but you guys get what I'm trying to say. Maybe not right away we find out this information, and if it is in the next chapter where there's a passing line like Kashin, Koji, and Boruto are talking, that much I do expect that's going to happen in the next chapter. It's in character for Kashin Koji not be caught up on the details like that when there's a larger threat saying like, hey, you could have ended up like Sasuke, then keep it moving. But I'm more so referring to what's going to happen when Boruto eventually has to tell Sarada about what happened, or someone like Ada reveals what happened to Sasuke. I'm expecting the same thing we got with Ishiki, where there were a quick 2 to 3 panels with some dialogue being shown, and then we jump right back in the story, just like it was the case with Code being a nut job for the Sasuke clan, where he chokes out Kawaki and Kawaki's flashback when they're kids because he's jealous of them, and then we jump back into the main story. I'm not expecting much more than that, because as hard as it is to believe, we're still in Boruto's flashback telling the story leading up to when he and Kawaki fought on top of the Hokage monument amongst the backdrop of the destroyed Hidden Leaf Village. Just because of how stories that utilize this method more often than not, which obviously there are exceptions to the rule, but exceptions don't make the standard. Most of the time stories like this are the ones that choose to use the tell method to tell us events that happen, and then they go back to the main story beats themselves. If we go that route, I'm definitely not going to be pleased, and longtime viewers of the channel who go back to the KRYPTONIAN Saiyan YouTube channel days know exactly why. I've been worried the story would do this from the moment Kishimoto told us in 2016 that he had no problem writing off and killing off characters from the Naruto story if it meant raising the stakes in Boruto, because I saw the method of writing that this story was taking by using a flash forward sequence and what that likely meant for events like this. Now I will say, I don't think most of us are mad that Sasuke saved his student from being eaten by a Ten-Tails. I think when you look at how this guy was scared out of his mind in chapter 80 of Boruto Naruto Next Generations, and he's openly saying he can't trust his memories and doesn't know if he's made a mistake by helping Boruto, the fact that a guy like that can bring himself to save Boruto shows just how far Sasuke has come, because he's not acting off of logic anymore and is acting off of emotion, and it implies that Boruto and Sasuke have rebuilt their bond strong enough to a degree that he would do something like this. Now, obviously, the other thing is that he likely would know that the Ten-Tails claw grinds that they ate Boruto would begin harvesting a chakra fruit, especially because you got someone like Code who would be bragging about that. So this could be a moment where Sasuke just makes a logical decision for the greater ninja world itself. However, if we go with that first line of thinking that Sasuke and Boruto have rebuilt their bond, the idea of him being caught in something like this and needing help from his student to escape is Sasuke coming back full circle, because in Naruto's first arc, the Land of Waves arc, Kakashi gets in a similar situation when he's fighting and having to look out for his students, and that leads to him getting caught in Zambaza's water prison jutsu and needing Team 7 to break him out of it. It'll be a really cool full circle moment. Assuming Boruto does get Sasuke out, I don't think we're going to be happy with Sasuke being turned into a tree to combat climate change in the ninja world. I don't want to make any assumptions about that, so I do want to know what you guys think about this.